If you look at the stock market right now, there is one undisputed king, Nvidia. And pretty much everyone tells you the same thing. Just buy the king. So today, I'm going to break down why one of my biggest personal bets is a 17,000-pound position against them. Let's get into it.
You really have to understand the scale of this. Right now, Nvidia controls a staggering 90% of the entire AI chip market. On top of that, they have these insane 80% gross margins. I mean, think about that. For every dollar of chips they sell, 80 cents is pure profit. They are, for all intents and purposes, a monopoly, the absolute definition of a market king, and they are priced for perfection.
So yeah, that begs the obvious question, right? Why on earth would I take over 17 grand and bet it all on the runner-up, advanced micro devices? Well, it might seem like a crazy bet, but the answer has almost nothing to do with who has the best tech and everything to do with business strategy. To really get why I'm making this bet, you first have to understand the fundamental problem with any monopoly. See, it's not a problem for the company, it's a massive, massive problem for their customers.
Just look at this. This is what 90% market share looks like in the real world. It's total pricing power. Nvidia can basically charge whatever they want, and their customers just have to pay up, right? Well, maybe not.
Let's just put ourselves in the shoes of big tech for a second. Imagine you're spending $30 billion a year on this stuff. The single most terrifying thing for your business is having only one supplier who can dictate the price and control the entire supply chain. You've got zero leverage. This isn't just a business risk, it's an existential threat.
And that threat, that absolute terror of being dependent on one supplier, well, that's where my entire investment thesis comes from. It's all built on a core business principle that you see play out in every major industry.
And that principle is supply chain security. Look, no large, serious company will ever allow itself to be held hostage by a single supplier for something this critical. It's just bad business. In fact, they will actively work to create a competitor.
And this right here, this is the whole game. In a monopoly, all the power is with the supplier. But the second a viable number two emerges, creating a duopoly, the power shifts right back to the customer. So these big tech companies aren't just sitting around hoping a competitor shows up. Oh no, they are actively funding one to give themselves leverage and escape these monopoly prices forever.
Now, this is maybe the most important part of the whole thesis. My bet is not that AMD is going to kill Nvidia. They don't have to. They just need to be a credible, viable number two. Because in a market this massive, just capturing 10% of the crumbs left behind by the king, well, that's a multi-billion-dollar opportunity.
Let's dig into that a little deeper, because you can't really understand the supplier, AMD, without first understanding what's driving the customer. And in this case, a really key customer is Meta.
And that's exactly why I own both companies. I really see these two positions as two sides of the same coin. AMD is the supply, they're making the chips, but Meta is the demand. They're the ones with billions of dollars ready to buy them. They're linked.
We already know from public reports that it's not just Meta. Microsoft and Oracle are also buying up AMD's new MI300 chips. So why are they doing it? Is it because they're somehow magically better than Nvidia's best? No, it's for cold, hard, practical business reasons. They're available, they're cheaper, and most importantly, every chip they buy from AMD sends a powerful message to Nvidia. So really, when you strip everything else away, that's what this bet boils down to. I'm betting on the rational self-interest, you can call it greed if you want, of some of the largest, most powerful companies in the world. They will do whatever it takes to save money and reduce their risk. And right now, that means making sure AMD is a success.
Okay, so the story makes sense, but the story is only half of it. As an investor, you have to talk about price. We need to look at how the market is actually valuing these two companies, because, let me tell you, the expectations couldn't be more different.
So on one hand, you have Nvidia, which is priced for absolute perfection. The market has already baked in all of its future growth and expects it to never ever make a mistake. And then you've got AMD. It's priced with so much skepticism. The market still remembers its past failures, which means the bar for success is set way, way lower.
And this gets to a core part of my philosophy. I would much rather buy a good company when the market is pessimistic about it. Think about it. If Nvidia just meets expectations, the stock might go nowhere. But if AMD just meets its own much lower goals, the stock could absolutely fly because no one was expecting it. It's all about the risk versus the reward.
Now, I'm not a blind bull here. There is a huge reason why Nvidia is king, and we have to talk about it. It has a name, CUDA. This is Nvidia's software. It's basically the language that all the AI developers use to write their code, and it only runs on Nvidia chips. It is a massive, protective moat around their business, and it is the single biggest argument against my AMD thesis.
So how does AMD ever get around that? Well, this is the best part. Their own customers are helping them do it. Meta, again acting in its own self-interest, is pouring resources into developing PyTorch, a software platform designed to let AI code run on any chip. They are literally building a bridge over Nvidia's CUDA moat. And why? Because it helps them and everyone else break the monopoly.
All right, so we've looked at the setup, the core thesis, the valuation argument, and the biggest risk. Let's bring it all together and land on a decision. What is the path forward for this 17,000-pound position?
For me, the decision is clear. Hold and monitor. I am not selling my AMD to chase Nvidia. I truly believe that this great transfer of wealth from a monopoly to a duopoly is really just getting started. The thesis is playing out exactly as I thought it would.
And just so you see how this fits into the bigger picture, this AMD position is my high-conviction chip bet. It sits right alongside my fintech anchor, SoFi, and my picks and shovels cloud play, Nebus. Each one has a very specific role to play in the portfolio.
And speaking of Nebius, that brings us to our next explainer. That position is up nearly 400%, which is incredible. But the company is facing a huge risk of dilution that could seriously hurt shareholders. So the big question we're going to tackle next time is this: is it time to take the profits and sell? We'll see you then.